And we should be live. Billy, can you hear me, my good friend?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can.
All right, we are here. Wow, I'm excited, dude. Wow. Can you
Yeah,
believe
man.
it?
I know. It's crazy. We're live.
And I'm just making sure on YouTube things are looking good, which so far looks like it's looking good. Maybe our chat can tell us because we are live. We're going to talk about professional wrestling like we always do, 12 p.m.
Really? Are we seriously?
Nah, I think we should talk about like Power Rangers or something instead.
I told you I was watching Power Rangers.
I know,
People
man.
clown me for it. People clown me for it, but it is what it is. I'm over here. I'm watching Power Rangers. I actually have it on this screen right here. I have it muted, turned down. I'm watching, for all my nerds out there, Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, well, were you a real 90s kid, bro?
I was, but I mean,
Are we sure about that?
I don't remember. I don't particularly remember watching. Um, I don't remember the particular names.
Yeah, my man Carter over here, he knows. Carter over on TikTok, he said he watched it.
Shout out to Carter on TikTok. Shout out to everybody joining us. Sorry if it seems like we're a little
Dull.
dull, a little off, whatever it may be. Just because right now, actually, where it stands was we're doing a little bit of a test because I am live on YouTube and TikTok as well. But for those who are tuning in now on Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern, we go live. We talk about professional wrestling. We shoot the crap about whatever is happening. And I've been informed that I actually need to tone it down with the swearing. So moving forward, your boy Ango is going to be PG, which
PG
is
Ango.
PG Ango, yeah. But of course, shout out to everybody watching us live. If you're on the Red app, YouTube, please do me a favor and click like and, consider dropping a super chat or whatever it may be. If you're watching on the TikTok app, show some love. Click follow. We are on the hunt for 100,000 subscribers, 100,000 followers on both platforms. Getting a lot closer on YouTube. TikTok, we are making significant progress, but we are almost like 80,000 away. But YouTube, YouTube, we're only like 15,000 away.
Yeah, dude, that's insane.
Yeah, so shout out to Fantasy Sports Entertainment who just subscribed as well. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be live. I know yesterday was NXT, and right now there's a lot of things that are exciting happening in the world of professional wrestling, and more specifically in the world of NXT and TNA as they continue to build their partnership. Today, Carlos Silva dropped some very big news regarding the TNA TV deal. So I want to talk about that and some of my theories. And then obviously yesterday we had the Vince McMahon situation where he appeared on the the TMZ documentary for Hulk Hogan,
Yep.
which obviously, that's a relatively big deal. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, really crazy to see what has happened. Just in general in the last 24 hours, I feel like we're kind of hitting a weird feeling with professional wrestling. And maybe Billy, you could kind of tell me how you feel, but this summer has been relatively big for wrestling,
For sure.
but at the same time too, it just seems like we're coasting by.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with the word coasting, right? It
Yeah.
feels like we're just kind of floating. We're waiting for the fall to happen. Obviously, once we kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday, when fall happens, I think we're going to come to this period where it gets a little more exciting because it normally does pick up, let's say around War Games. That's always when I felt that it like really like picked back up leading into the Royal Rumble, things of that nature. So right now we are in this coasting period, but we're still here. We're still talking about it. We're still covering it as much as we possibly can, strictly based off the fact that it is, it is more difficult to sit through all these shows, especially when people have lives. You know what I mean? We all have things that we got to do, and it's tough, man. It's tough because yes, we cover wrestling, but still at the end of the day, like you don't want to consume your life with everything pro wrestling. You know what I mean? And with how fast news comes out nowadays and stuff like that, it tends to get a little bit difficult. But my thought process is, yeah, coasting is the word, man.
Yeah, it's actually really funny you said that too. I'm going to be honest because you mentioned you mentioned like we have lives and stuff, but I actually feel like having wrestling being such a big part of my life makes it enjoyable.
For
And
sure.
I think, like, obviously, yeah, this is my job, and I'm very blessed about that, and I love that. And I love the fact that I love professional wrestling, and I get to talk about the things I love. But I don't know what it is. Like, we're definitely coasting by. Like, it was a solid episode of NXT. It's not
Mm-hmm.
really, not a bad episode by any means. WWE and TNA's partnership is cool. Like I said, Carlos Silva is giving us a very big update on the TV deal situation. So I feel like there's a lot to get excited about. But, you know, it's funny because yesterday in Michigan, too, and perhaps maybe you even caught a little bit of
The storm.
the storm, yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, we got hit with that storm, and dude, like as it was storming, I was just kind of sitting there, just relaxing and watching Raw or watching NXT, excuse me. And when I was watching NXT in the storm, I was just so relaxed and so comfortable. And it just kind of reminded me sometimes life needs to slow down because there's just so many things happening, so many things moving on and going on and whatever it may be. But yeah, dude, we're definitely coasting by with NXT. And unfortunately for NXT, man, I hate to say this because I think they are my favorite show weekly, just consistently. Like them and TNA, especially what they've been doing together has been great. But I particularly like both shows for many reasons. And then when I go and watch NXT, I'm like, this episode didn't have anything too exciting.
No. It again. I hate to, because people give me flack when I use this word, but it was a filler episode. You know what I mean? It was let's get to the next week. You know what I mean? And WWE will do that sometimes. Let's just move on to the next thing. Obviously, not every week is going to be must-see television. You know what I mean? They do this 52 weeks a year. It's hard to make everything must-see television. You're gonna hit a wall eventually.
Yeah.
You're gonna crash, things of that nature. Now, WWE has, in some capacity, kind of hit that wall right now, especially between Raw and NXT. We don't know what Friday looks like, so I can't really speak on that. But I can speak on the last two episodes, you know what I mean, that haven't necessarily hit home for me as a viewer. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, the professional wrestling side on Monday Night Raw and, you know, that little bit of entertainment, it wasn't something that again, it just goes back to that must-see television. Like, it wasn't must-see television. You'd be okay if you missed it and you went and looked at some highlights. You know what I mean?
That's the problem with like television and entertainment these days, though, too, is I feel like a lot of people tend to just like, oh, I could watch the highlights and get the full scope of things.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that you really can't with the way WWE books. I don't look at highlights as a big indicator of something good for a company like WWE whose focus is the stories.
Yeah.
The highlights aren't really the best, but I would argue I would like to see AEW do more of the highlights and stuff because their focus is so much more of the in-ring action.
Right, correct.
So I would definitely make that argument for sure. But it's definitely interesting seeing like where we're at right now in the grand scheme of things. Because like I said, I'm just ready for like summer to end, which is crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah, and then of course like with the wrestling news business, right? Like there is always something to talk about with professional wrestling news. But it doesn't
mean it's always exciting.
Exactly. So like there's always news, but it doesn't mean there's a lot of exciting stuff. And then of course we had the other day where it's like, okay, Karrion Kross is gone from WWE. Is this a work? Yeah, that's relatively exciting, but then the problem with that becomes like it kind of becomes this thing of like all right, what else? You know? And then it's just such a weird dynamic with professional wrestling in general. And I do think maybe that's the mistake we make, especially because we're content creators as well, is like you watch an episode and you're hoping for something very massive to happen, and then it doesn't necessarily happen, which is kind of odd, right?
Yeah, of course, because we're definitely, you and I in particular, and numerous other creators out there, we're always in the look for something big to happen because it gives us something to talk about. It allows us to create content. It allows us to do those things. You know, so for maybe somebody, you know, we're sitting here having this conversation and we're like, oh yeah, we're in this dry period. Like we're just kind of coasting. You know, for a regular viewer, they might not think that. You know what I mean? Maybe last night was super exciting to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just where we stand right now.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And I want to shout out Mateo on TikTok. He actually wrote a really good comment in the chat. He says we need a good story in the NXT Men's Championship. And I actually agree with this. This has become one of my really problematic things about NXT currently as it stands. Like NXT, remember months ago when we were talking about the
I was
women's
about to
division?
say,
Yeah, we've had this conversation before, and it's honestly kind of tired getting repetitive because I really do enjoy NXT. But with Trick Williams holding the TNA World Championship, and then, you know, you have Moose and Trick Williams and Javon Evans and everybody involved on NXT. Like, it's cool, and I'm excited about that. But what's the main story for the men's world championship? Like, where are we really headed with Obafemi? And I feel like that's actually getting lost in the sauce because of Trick Williams being the one to hold the TNA world title. And when I saw Mateo put this on the TikTok chat, I was very, very, very disappointed in the sense that, like, it's true. Like, we're having this issue yet again where the men's world championship scene, because of Obafemi is essentially just unbeatable, WWE is handicapped in this particular situation. And I hate it so much, bro. It's literally becoming where it's like, I love this Jordan Grace, Blake Monroe feud. I love what they're doing with JC Jane. And you know, JC Jane's holding both belts, but she's feuding with Masha Slamovich, and now we know Ash by Elegance as well, and the Elegance family. Like, there's a lot of stuff there that is nice to watch and see in the women's division, and you see it with the Fatal Influence or whatever. But then when it comes to Obafemi holding the world championship, bro, like, he's unbeatable at this point. It's not becoming enjoyable to watch at all.
Yeah, I feel like they missed the ball with Obafemi, and I'm not saying that they've missed with Obafemi the character and stuff like that. That's not true. He's going to shine as soon as he goes up to the main roster. But you kind of said it. They handicapped themselves to Obafemi on NXT because right now there is nothing else for them to gravitate onto. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for them to create something because, again, if you go back to a live stream that we did back in like February, we talked about this. Who's going to beat this guy? Okay, well, now we know. Literally nobody. There is literally nobody that logically can dethrone Obafemi from the championship. So they need to, Shawn Michaels in particular needs to go out. He needs to come up with something. He obviously has like some great stars, right? And maybe they're trying to do it with Javon Evans, but the problem with it is that we've done the Javon Evans thing before. So you've kind of handicapped that situation too, because the hype that Javon had before, then you could have done it. I don't know if Javon Evans has that same exact hype that he did, 4 or 5 months ago, however long ago it was. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for WWE right now because they've literally like gridlocked Obafemi. Oh, that's a good question, bro. That's a really good question. I don't think WWE. I think NXT in particular. And it's kind of a toss up, right?
Yeah.
Because you can make the argument that yes, they have, because Trick Williams has been such a main key. JC Jane was supposed to be this main key, all of these different things. But the truth is, no, I don't think so. Because I think regardless of the fact Trick lost to Oba. You know what I mean? JC Jane, Stephanie Vakir was always going to go up. They needed another champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think where they've messed up is not giving a championship on their side and rather only allowing the TNA, or excuse me, the NXT superstars to hold TNA championships. Because if you were to ask me months ago, I would have told you, oh man, Joe Hendry would have been a great NXT world champion. And if you were to ask me right now, if you wanted to make things even more exciting and who I believe could beat Oba, bring Mike Santana in. And they're not doing that. They're not utilizing that side, the TNA men's roster, to the full capacity that I believe they could to help fix their situation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes and no. I think that's a hard question to sit up and actually say, like, oh yeah, they've put too much on, given too much to TNA. I don't know. I really don't.
I'm starting to feel under the impression as if that is true, to be honest.
Okay, please explain.
No, I think they have kind of, in a way, they have, like, and that's okay. It's not a problem per se. I mean, you want TNA to do well in this partnership, so I'm okay with that. But I do think they just kind of, I don't think the emphasis right now currently stands with Obafemi, which has kind of become problematic.
Yeah.
And I think right now it's like, I saw Mike in the chat said, I think it was Mike. Yeah, Mike said either send Omos to beat him or do a fatal 4-way. And, like, maybe that's the solution. But then, dude, having another giant beat Obafemi and then you have Omos hold the NXT World Championship, but then he's, like, you're having the same issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's problematic. Honestly, it's very problematic. So definitely, I want to talk more about this. We did get 2 super chats from Love Dogs Avery for $1.99. The first one is Vince's face looks like he is melting. We are definitely going to talk about Vince McMahon in just a moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're not going to take too long to get to that. Trust me. I have a lot to say about that. And then Love Dogs Avery also dropped another $1.99. NXT feels like it's an identity crisis. And that's what I was actually going to say. This is not a complaint, but I think when it comes to the men's world championship picture, it's actually been the most inconsistent that I have seen, like, honestly, like, all year. Like, there's moments where it gets back on track and it's good, and then it's like, I don't know what is happening there, but something about it is just not consistent. And then I think that's the problem that we're kind of looking at, unfortunately, is like, this is a company that is putting a lot of emphasis on TNA, and then in the process, they're losing their own identity. You got to find a good balance, and I don't think they've actually been able to do that successfully just yet, which that's problematic in my opinion. I find that to be very problematic, and it goes back to, like, TNA is going to get this new TV deal. Carlos Silva is talking about this new TV deal, and basically the new update is, like, we're expecting this by the fall. He did not deny the allegations or the speculation about CW and A&E. He's talking about streaming providers, TV providers, all of these different things, which really leads me to believe that we will, in fact, see, to some degree, TNA being part of Peacock.
Absolutely.
And that's my speculation. That's my belief based on, what's kind of out there. And like, when I look at TNA getting this TV deal, it's imperative that they get a good one, of course. I mean, that's going to be a major game changer. They're looking at anywhere from $7 to $10 million a year, which, let's be real, with these
that would be a game changer for them.
Yeah, and these billion dollar companies, what's $7 to $10 million a year, right? Like, for them, it's nothing. It's pocket change.
Right.
Obviously, you have to have the right synergy to do it and to make things happen. But I think with WWE helping TNA, it's going to help TNA, which is great. It's going to impact AEW. It's going to hurt them a little bit to a certain degree. When people are ready to have a healthy conversation, we could probably talk more in depth about that, right? But
yeah,
right now for TNA, that would be a massive win. And I just want to kind of spitball something. This is me on the fly talking, and then, Billy, you can kind of react.
Sure.
As it stands right now with TNA, they have, 20 to 25,000 subscriptions to TNA Plus. Now, okay. I don't know the breakdown of this. I don't know how many people pay $9.99. I don't know how many people pay for the annual, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. But if you were to do the mental math, and again, I'm kind of spitballing, I would assume that TNA Plus probably makes TNA $1 million to $2 million a year off of subscription costs.
Yeah.
That's me guessing. That's me being hypothetical and talking about it. If they go live every week and they get $10 million a year, 5 years, $50 million, we're not talking about talent. I don't think Anthem would be smart to give talent $10 million contract, right? That
No,
obviously wouldn't
no,
be smart.
no.
But to give talent, roughly 6 figures plus, it's going to be enticing for talent to go to TNA.
For sure. Especially like the talent we see now, like, some of because I'm not going to undermine anybody. I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, this person, fits the role, but definitely like mid card talent, whether that be WWE or AEW that like we've seen, like, again, I mean, you really look at somebody like Mike Santana, who has really been like a breakout star for TNA, who initially had like that small singles run in AEW, and they just didn't utilize him correctly, and then they bring him to TNA, and this guy is one of the most over characters on the roster in TNA. He's their guy right now.
Yeah.
So it, when you talk about the 6-figure deals, the 6 digits, I could see that be enticing, for maybe people that we remember who are like, man, like, why didn't they get utilized? Why weren't they used in this role, for them to come over there? And I think what you're going to see is TNA really create their own identity with that. And now they're just going to have more money to play with to bring people in to create that identity.
Yeah.
We talk about Mike Santana being the guy right now. A year from now, they'll have another guy. You know what I'm saying? Who is maybe on a bigger scale than Mike Santana. Like there's a lot to it.
So I agree with that, but I think you got to be careful here because you're going to have the internet arguing about Mike Santana should have been that guy at Slammiversary, right? So there obviously is a long-term play, but when you look at NXT and TNA, I feel like you could actually see more of a long-term play for the World Championship in TNA versus WWE NXT. And that's kind of what I want to circle back to, especially with the Super Chat. It's like there's an identity crisis for NXT. No, there's an identity crisis for the men's World Championship.
Correct.
And I think almost like the draft is coming up probably next month, right? So, like, in my mind, I'm almost wondering as if they literally have Obafemi vacate the belt and go onto the main roster and call it a day. Like, I don't know if they're going to do, like, a David versus Goliath story for him because Javon Evans would be a fun world champion. I have no problem with that. But, like, you have to really paint the picture that that's in the cards, and right now that's not necessarily what's happening.
Correct.
So that is kind of the reason why I do agree with Love Dogs Avery. Like, it does feel like there is some sort of identity crisis to some sort of degree, but only for the main title scene because everything else is honestly flowing very well. Everything you're watching on NXT flows very well. The stories are good. Like, everything is clicking. The women continue to be impressive. There's layers to everything. I'm very impressed with JC Jane as the champion. I don't think they've done her wrong at all. In fact, I've actually been more impressed with WWE in the way that they've actually gone that route with JC Jane because she's not only a great representation for NXT, but she's a great representation for TNA as well. And then you can have this opportunity for NXT like next year, Worlds Collide. I think you can do NXT, TNA, AAA. Like, I think they're essentially creating that demand. And imagine they do that event, and next thing you know, TNA lands this deal with Peacock. Let's say that actually happens. Then you have a WWE, TNA, AAA pay-per-view. Like, there's a lot of cool things you could do, bro. Like, I see the vision with everything else but the main title scene. And I think for me, that's where I just get a little bit bothered because me and you have definitely talked about this on the show throughout the last year. It's like Shawn Michaels is kind of in his bag everywhere else. This is the one area where I'm like, okay, man, like something's
we got a gray area here.
Yeah, exactly. But shout out to Love Dog Avery for those super chats. David Primero dropping $1.99. He says, send Austin Theory to NXT and win the NXT title. Billy, I have a huge thought on this, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah. Every part of me, yeah. I mean, of course. Okay, so when we talk about Austin Theory potentially going to NXT and winning that championship, I think of the Grayson Waller situation, and that upsets me. Yeah. That's where my mind kind of goes first, because I feel like it would be almost, what's the word that I'm looking for? Nonsensical for WWE to allow that to happen and not finish off that story because they had teased it so many times. Do I think that Austin Theory is 100% a person who could go out and beat Obafemi and they could make it believable? I feel like if you put him down there and you don't just have him jump into the title picture, and instead what you do is you let him rack up some wins, some very important wins, not just against like, not going to throw any names out there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, some of the guys who maybe are only seen every month or every 2 months or something like that on TV. If he's not going out there and beating those guys and instead, rather going out beating the Ethan Pages of the world, the Ricky Saints of the world, and then he comes out and he has a match with somebody like Trick Williams and he beats him, and you start to make it believable, then I think you're in a position to allow Austin Theory to go on and win that NXT championship. Because obviously, if you've ever seen the guy, he's got the build. The he's massive. WWE is going to want to make him a babyface. That's a given, right? So if you want to do that, this is a good place. And if you want to test how he is and how he will be as a world champion, any type of champion in general besides a tag team champion, that is the place to test it, is in NXT.
I agree 1,000,000%. I think you said that very well. I think Austin Theory going to NXT, it's such a strange thing because I do feel like as of right now, he's ready, like physically ready to be in a top spot in the WWE as a top babyface. He is. The WWE isn't. So what I mean by that is WWE is they got too much stuff going on. They got the Jey Uso stuff. They have LA Knight potentially to work on, and then of course you got on SmackDown Aleister Black, and just there's so many talents right now who I think WWE prioritizes more than Austin Theory. What I love about what you're saying though, and why I love this super chat so much, is the idea that Austin Theory can go to NXT, show the WWE, maybe even having a lengthy run in NXT, holding it down as a babyface world champion. I think there is a lot of beauty that comes from like hey, you know what? It's undeniable. We have to put him in WWE's main roster. And this is going to sound like a really crazy fantasy booking idea, but I would love for one day an NXT guy, like a current performer for NXT, to win the Royal Rumble. It would be kind of cool for Austin Theory to enter the Royal Rumble as an NXT champion one day and then win the Royal Rumble. And then you have NXT champion versus, WWE World Heavyweight Champion or whatever. And then from that moment, though, what they can do would be like, oh, Austin Theory won. I know this is going to get shit on because people hate Austin Theory, but like, I don't believe that's also true. I think people do secretly like him, but I think like it would be kind of cool for the NXT Championship, the visual of him holding the NXT belt and then the World Heavyweight Championship. And then that night, he has to vacate the NXT belt because he's officially world champion, on WWE Raw.
Correct.
But I like the idea of an NXT person doing it. Austin Theory came from NXT, went to the main roster. He's currently injured. It's definitely something I would like, though.
Yeah, so would I. I would be a fan of it, and I'm 100% behind it if WWE wants to do it. Especially, I'm not sure if anybody has seen. Sorry to continue on this.
Yeah.
But his TikToks. I'm not sure if people watch his TikTok. The stuff that he does on TikTok is actually really interesting. He just does like motivational stuff, and he talks about like working out and things of that nature. Like, I think that's a good identity for somebody like Austin Theory.
Yeah, man. He's enjoyable to watch. Like,
exactly.
He is enjoyable to watch, and I think people don't realize how good of a babyface Austin Theory could be until you start seeing fan videos as well. People post like the fan videos of them together, and like, it's just how he interacts. It's very much the John Cena vibe of like,
yes,
he'll be really good with that.
He's gonna be loved one day.
Yeah, for sure, it's gonna happen. I don't think. Well, you never know. Actually, WWE just got rid of Karrion Kross, so it's like,
this is true.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. With WWE and TKO, I don't think anything is guaranteed at all in the slightest, which is kind of crazy.
No, not anymore.
But it's definitely something that I make mention of. Shout out to David Primero for the $1.99. Let's give a shout out to David Primero, who followed up with that with another $1.99. He says, look at the NXT Heatwave card. 3 matches are women. which is true. So it has been made official. JC Jane versus Masha Slamovich versus Ash by Elegance, which is taking place at NXT Heatwave. Lola Vice versus Kalani Jordan versus Jada Parker, which is a triple threat match for the number one contendership for the NXT Women's Championship. You have Jordan Grace versus Blake Monroe. And then the only other match that's been revealed for that card is Hank and Tank versus Dark State. So to kind of go with this super chat, yeah, 3 women matches. Clearly, Shawn Michaels loves the women, but they're doing a phenomenal job with the way that they're booking the women. And so it's justifiable in having these level of matches. And what's really cool is like Lola Vice is somebody who's killing it right now, just re-signed with the company. You know, she's doing AAA. Hey, maybe that's a possibility. But you know who's really looked good in the past year? Jada Parker. So it's like, hey, maybe that's the route you go. They're not making it easy for us to know exactly who they're going to lean with, which is why the JC Jane thing worked out so well. But it is still pretty damn cool to see like things are coming into formation. And then, yeah, of course, Jordan Grace versus Blake Monroe is such a personal battle. It's such a personal thing. I find it very enjoyable to watch, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually been my favorite thing to watch on NXT is Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace. It is easily hands down. I think just the pairing and the unexpectedness of the pairing, it makes me excited within itself. But yeah, no, man. Obviously, kind of like you said there a moment ago, Sean loves. I think he knows what he's doing with these women.
Yeah,
And I think he knows how he's booking them. Again, it all falls back on just that one piece of something is missing in that main event scene. Like, you know, I'm probably in the minority of this, but like even like I like Josh Briggs and Inamura and what they were doing. I know Josh Briggs was kind of getting that go, like turn his mic off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I enjoy Josh Briggs though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something just isn't clicking in that men's scene. Truth be told, I think I went on live and said it numerous times. I was like, they should give Josh Briggs the world championship.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like there's a lot of opportunities. You got to find what connects with people too. I want to do a couple shout outs as well in the TikTok chat. First, I want to say shout out to Jason Barker. Also, Daddy's Beard Comp, Mateo also coming through with tons of good stuff in the chat. Small Afro is in the chat as well. Shout out to Small Afro. I don't know if you know who Small Afro is, this is crazy because I've been doing this YouTube shit for a long time. Small Afro used to do, I want to say NBA 2K content. Like maybe I'm tripping, but I feel like I used to see him do NBA 2K stuff.
I don't think I've ever.
Yeah, I'm 99.9% positive. But then he started doing some stuff with BDE and the Vibe guys, which is really dope. Yep. So now he's doing like wrestling stuff. But I'm almost positive, dude. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I just remember seeing him do like a whole bunch of old like 2K stuff. Obviously, I remember the old wrestling stuff, like 2015. I want to say. I don't know. That's crazy. But I just seen him in the chat, so shout out to him. It's always cool seeing other people show up in the chat, and that's really dope.
I'll tell you what, I looked him up, and he was the first person that popped up. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody coming through, hanging out, especially on TikTok. We're live on TikTok and the Red app as well. Shout out to David Primero for the super chats. Thank you. True Flight 11 dropping a $9.99. He says a clue that a new TV deal for TNA is coming is them changing their time slot to 9 p.m. On Access TV when they were on Pop TV. Their time slot got changed and a new TV deal happened. Yes, that is true, but I don't really want to talk about TNA and Pop TV. When Impact was on Pop TV, it actually wasn't that bad, but Pop TV was a terrible channel. So.
Pop TV sucked, bro, but yes, I remember too.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because, like, a lot of people don't realize, like, TNA at that time, they had, even when they were on Destination America or, like, Pursuit Channel, they were not a bad product, bro. I watched it. I'm telling you, like, it wasn't a bad product. What ended up happening was, unfortunately, the company was all over the place.
Yeah, so bro. I mean, bouncing from owner to owner to owner. There was no identity really then for them. They had great, great superstars. They had great matches, things of that nature. Yeah, just no background identity.
Yeah, man. So that's the thing, right? Like, no background. I mean, it was just complicated times, honestly, in TNA history, Impact history. It was
For sure. For sure.
And that's kind of how it
For
was,
sure.
unfortunately. But yeah, dude, it was sick. Like, there was a time period where they did kind of do the time change, and then once the new TV deal happened, people were already acclimated to the time slot. I don't think TNA
Yeah.
has to do that. I think whatever TNA ends up doing, people will automatically follow. Like, thankfully,
I
TNA
agree.
is just in a much better position these days, where like you ain't got to worry about that kind of shit.
Yeah, I remember when we covered Hard to Kill when they were making this change.
Yeah,
And really just got to witness it firsthand, and I've kind of been keeping up here and there ever since.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun to watch. Real fast, I hate to cut everything, but I just want to say a big shout out to Sharon Dye. She dropped a $1.99 super chat over on my channel. Sharon never leaves a comment. She's just very naturally kind. So just got to give a big shout out to Sharon.
Shout out to Sharon. Shout out to everybody showing love, for real. Shout out to True Flight 11, by the way, for the $9.99. Thank you. Our good friend Phil actually dropped a super chat as well. Phil dropped a $4.99. He says, it might have been a hot take, but Billy knows this. I would have put the Rocket on Jasper Troy for the NXT title, but they had him be defeated by Obafemi. Bro, this is
up with him.
This is tough for me. This is a tough one. I like Jasper Troy, but are we getting to the point where now we're starting to become unbeatable? Like, in the sense that, okay, they put Jasper Troy in this huge, strong push. Are they going to get to the point where he's like another Obafemi? Like, that's why I kind of like the idea. I kind of like the idea of Javon Evans,
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've always liked because it's simple, right? The underdog story, no matter what way you twist it, bop it, turn it, whatever, is always... that story is always going to work in some capacity. It's always going to. So whether it be Sami Zayn, whether it be Javon Evans, whether it be Cody Rhodes, whether it be Hangman Page, no matter what, if you can just get behind the character a little bit, the underdog story will always work. Fans will be captured by it.
But they absolutely need to. It's like imperative that they like actually build them up as that underdog,
For sure. And the problem with it is that I think like somebody, like, I'll just speak for myself here and say, like, at some point you start to see through the cracks of the underdog story. And I think that's what's happening with somebody like, I know this is kind of far off, but for me, with somebody like Sami Zayn, to where it's like, yeah, the underdog story works, right?
Yeah.
But is it what I want to see right at this very moment? Because I just seen it not that long ago with Jey Uso.
That's very fair.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's very fair. Yeah, I mean, it's we'll have to see, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think the Jasper Troy thing, though, is I think
Jasper's good.
It's a hot take only for the simple fact that I think he's just going to be like another Obafemi, just another unbeatable guy.
Yeah, and that problem is a whole nother problem. It's like, okay, does every champion that comes through NXT need to be this unbeatable character? Like, have we buried the idea and thought of Jasper Troy strictly because he lost 2 times? And he lost to some, compelling opponents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't necessarily know. WWE has never been based off wins and losses. It's based off momentum.
Yeah, of course. That's how they dictate the story. It's
right. So if they could just get Jasper back on his feet, don't count him out as a world champion. That guy, he'll have it eventually. You know what I mean? The problem with it is right now we're kind of stuck in this Obafemi vortex. That's the issue.
My hot take is they only pushed Jasper Troy not because they believed in him, but because they wanted WWE LFG to be promoted. That's my little hot take. Like, I genuinely believe that. I think they definitely wanted him to.
Yeah, because they definitely waited on Tasha May Steele.
Yeah, and even that, she's like back in Evolve.
Right.
But I think Jasper Troy winning LFG and then immediately going up after Oba, like I think that was their way of saying like this is why you should watch LFG. And to a certain degree, I think it worked. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of over it with Jasper Troy, which is crazy. But I do think that way. Like I do think as if maybe that's why. Well,
my hot take is that Shiloh Hill should have won the last season.
I think Shiloh Hill is going to be huge in WWE.
For sure. Yeah, me too. He was definitely my pick for, and I know he's in season 2 and stuff like that. But yeah.
But I also think season 2. I think season 2 has lost a lot of momentum compared to the first season.
Yes, again, we talk about this momentum thing. Momentum is everything inside of this company. It's all about how things are promoted and how they're built. Yeah, I don't even know what episode they're on of LFG right now, because in the beginning when it first happened, of course, it was no different than like the Tough Enoughs of the world, where they're promoting it a bunch. Everything's on Twitter. You're seeing everything that's happening. Now you don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting for sure. Honestly,
it is.
Like it's actually like definitely something to pay attention to.
For sure.
Shout out to Phil for the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Brian McHattie coming through with $5. He says, "Are we seeing the downside to WWE having so much talent and developing great talent quicker than can be utilized?" Yes. This was an 100%. Issue that I talked about with NXT 2.0. I'll stand on this forever. WWE is getting to the point where there's too many people that are too qualified and not enough room for everybody to do it. And then, therefore, you have to kind of play the waiting game. Mm-hmm. This really started with NXT 2.0, and Carmelo Hayes was a perfect example. Like, Carmelo Hayes could be a great babyface, but I think he's even a greater heel. I see a lot of heel Shawn Michaels in Carmelo Hayes. Right now, WWE cannot push Carmelo Hayes to the full extent that he deserves because there's just too many great heels and too many bigger stories. 10 years from now, when the Romans and the Seth Rollins and all those big names are gone, that's where Carmelo Hayes will probably, if he's still in the company, like that's when they'll have their time. And it's weird. We're seeing this happen. Man, we're seeing this happen even like a kid like Javon Evans, I mean, literally has come in and he's connecting with the crowd in such a big way where now it's like, dude, you kind of have to like catch lightning in a bottle, and once you do, you just have to take advantage of it.
Correct. Correct.
So I've called this out since 2.0, NXT 2.0. We're literally seeing it, and there's certain people who aren't affected by it, like Braun Breaker is not impacted by it, Tiffany Stratton's not impacted by it, but like Tony D'Angelo is definitely impacted by it. Like he's going to go onto the main roster, and he might do some cool stuff on TV, but the truth is, he ain't going to be killing it for a world title, No,
because they don't have all that room. They don't have 1 billion world titles up there.
And you can't.
They got 2. They got 2.
But it's not even that. It's just they don't even have enough TV time for.
No,
they have a lot of TV time, and they don't even have enough TV time. So that's where I think NXT should really become the third brand, and Evolve should really be just the developmental.
Be the developmental. Yeah, that's fair.
But then it's tough because then you still have the call-up system. And then as long as you have the call-up system, then you're screwed. You know what I mean? Like,
right, exactly. Because people are going to keep on flowing through.
You would have to imagine would WWE make a major change.
Yeah, I feel like... I wonder when they'd make that change, if they did in the first place. Because they've always said, like, oh, yeah, NXT is our third brand. And it's like, because we still have the call-up system there. It's still hard to say.
No, right? as long as there's a call-up system, it is the G League for WWE.
Correct.
Or whatever they call it. G League, D League, whatever. NBA. You know what I'm talking about. It's the minor leagues. It's like the AAA to MLB thing. Like it's not really perceived as that level from fans because we get quality stuff from NXT. But as long as there's a call-up system, for as long as we get that, for sure, that's going to be the thing.
Yeah, real fast, I just want to give a big shout-out to my boy Darth Bane. He's been a member of my channel for 3 months now. That's crazy.
Shout out to Darth Bane.
That is insane. Shout out my boy Darth Bane. Hey, there we go.
Shout out to Darth Bane. I forgot I can use this, Billy.
Yeah, bro, yeah. Yeah, I wonder if people have noticed. I wonder if people have.
No, we don't even got to talk about it. Let's see if they do. If they notice,
yeah, I wonder if they notice. Yeah, I wonder. Can you guys notice what's different?
In like the last month, not even?
Yeah. And I was about to say maybe. Here's a little trivia for you guys.
have some fun with it.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to Darth Bane. Shout out to Phil for those super chats. David Primero came through again with another $1.99. He says, Vanity Project from Evolve has more charisma than LFG.
I love the Vanity Project. That's just me.
Vanity Project to me is still very green, though.
For sure, they're very green, but I very much enjoy them.
But you could tell from like the Evolve / WWE ID program, like those guys are...
They're going to shine.
Yeah, they'll have their time. But again, like it might be... They might get featured more on NXT more and more and more. And then next thing you know, it's like, hey, you get called up to NXT. But then maybe it really takes off. And then it's like, hey, you got to go to the main roster. I don't know. You got to be careful with it, bro. You got to be...
For sure. You got to move with these call-ups carefully.
It's tough, yeah.
Yeah. I know we had another big topic that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Come on. Chill out, Billy, TKO. We got a show to run.
Come on.
But yeah, shout out to David Primero for those super chats. Anybody else want to drop a super chat on our channels, go ahead and do that. That guarantees your questions, comments get read. Also, shout out to everybody watching on TikTok. Over 2,000 likes on TikTok. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to DJ the Juggalo. Shout out to Raised. Shout out to Mateo. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to everybody. Also on YouTube, we got to, of course, shout out Phil, Mike, RM, Trevon, Brian McHattie. I mean, everybody's coming through. This is fun. I love live streaming. You know what else I love, Billy?
What's that?
You know what else I love? I love
What's that?
When the wrestling world freaks out on Twitter because of something that TMZ did. TMZ posted.
That was a really good segue.
Thank you. I'm working on my segues. I'm trying to get good at that.
Yeah, that was really good.
But yeah, they dropped the Hulk Hogan documentary. I don't know. Have you been able to watch it? And it's okay if you haven't. I don't expect you to.
I did not watch the documentary, but I did see clips.
Okay. The documentary is like 45, 50 minutes long. TMZ did a documentary on Hulk Hogan. Kind of what you would expect from TMZ doing a thing with Hulk
because
Hogan.
this isn't the first time they've done something like this.
No,
they've actually done this a couple times.
Yeah, exactly. So they do this whole thing, and it's cool. It's whatever. Like, this is how WWE and TMZ gets covered, right? Like TMZ, it's very interesting. For those who don't know, TMZ is also owned by Fox, who reportedly, has a great relationship with Vince McMahon, yada, yada, yada. But they do this documentary, Vince McMahon's on it. Now, I don't know if Vince McMahon had any say in the documentary. I don't know if Vince McMahon had any... You have people out here speculating that maybe Vince McMahon came to TMZ and said, listen, I want to be a part of this. Right now, when it comes to public appearances from Vince McMahon, we don't actually see Vince McMahon often. Like, it's very rare. Sure. Especially just the other week, we heard about his car accident. There's just... You don't know anything with Vince. Vince gets on there. He's upset with WWE. He wasn't invited to the 10-bell salute. And it's just interesting. I made a video on this today that I uploaded on the Red app. And when I did this video, I was talking about Vince McMahon, like, essentially being banned from WWE. And in a strange way, it feels as if that's the case. Because WWE and Vince McMahon, like, they're not bringing him back. They're not utilizing him even to pay tribute to Hulk Hogan. I think there's a lot of people that have kind of speculated, like, oh, when WWE has a chance, they're bringing back, they're bringing back.
Yeah, because
Vince.
of everything that happened just now with Brock.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't either. I feel like there's part of me feels like because of how vocal Vince has been since things have taken place. Because let's be real here, I think we could all tell by reports and stuff like that there was always this sour taste when Vince left. He didn't want it to, like, he sold the company to TKO as, like, it felt like almost in like a like get back type of way, like, oh, if I can't have it, nobody can.
Yeah.
And then his thought process was, oh, well, if I do have to step away, I'll always be welcome back. And that's not the case here. Ari Emanuel, who sat next to him in an interview, They talked so many times, et cetera, et cetera. He's always got a home here. And then things hit the fan, and suddenly you no longer have this home here, and you're no longer welcome here. Then you go on TMZ and you say, oh, yeah, I'm upset because they didn't invite me to the 10 bell salute. Well, you walked into this. This is your doing. This was Vince's doing. Vince can go cry. He can go have whatever and do whatever. He did this. This is his fault. The reason why we're having these conversations today, whether it be good, whether it be bad, is all about a decision that Vince McMahon made back in 2023 when he decided to sell the company. That company no longer belongs to you. No matter how many shares, no matter how many holds you have, it does not matter. The owner of that company now is Ari Emanuel and TKO.
Which is crazy because Vince still does have shares in the company. I don't believe he
correct.
sold them all.
He does. No, he did not.
Obviously, he's not a majority owner. Obviously, Vince McMahon is not in a position where he can make any sort of big decisions or anything like that. But it is interesting to see how everything has kind of transpired. But when I was watching the documentary and like having seen that, first I thought it was kind of weird because TMZ, I've never really seen behind the scenes of how TMZ gets their information, and then they show, you know, like how they do it. But you could see they show the thing where they're all kind of gathered around. The guy gets a call. Hulk Hogan passed. Some guy already had something pre-written, 150 characters. Like, that was kind of weird. Like, literally within a matter of like 30, 40, 50 seconds, like, they were ready to publish it. It's almost like they were ready, like they were expecting it to happen.
Yeah, dude, they were all sitting in kind of no different than I am right now, where I'm sitting at my desk and I have these monitors and I'm constantly, you know, left and right. That's what they do, dude.
Yeah. But to kind of anticipate his death was interesting.
Yes, it seems like you were sitting waiting on it.
Yeah. Now, granted, to be incredibly open and honest, I don't know much about the guy. I don't follow the guy. But Bubba the Love Sponge has his own radio show.
For sure.
He's been covering tons of stuff regarding Hulk Hogan's health. And a lot of people just kind of dismissed it, especially when you have other people going on social media being like, no, what you're hearing about Hulk isn't true. So it was a very interesting documentary, but to see Vince McMahon publicly talk about it, and then to see that WWE just, you know, WWE is not giving Vince the platform, and that's kind of the main point to this is WWE's not getting the main. They're not getting the main. They're not giving Vince any sort of platform to talk, to come out, to be part of the show, which was interesting because, as you remember, before the merger and everything, like when Vince was like canceled and then he came back and then he's on SmackDown, he basically like on SmackDown and Raw, and he kind of made those promos, you know.
Yeah.
Now they didn't have any sort of thing for him to come out and be involved with anything. And I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where, you know, WWE at this time, they have these relationships with Netflix and they have these relationships with ESPN and all these companies, and there's going to be more documentaries and more content created. I don't think we're going to see Vince McMahon ever in a future documentary that's produced by WWE. The likelihood of seeing Vince McMahon, anything to do with Vince McMahon and WWE, I truly believe the casket is closed. Like, it's done. It's a done deal. The door is closed on it. But when it's closed, it's never opening up. But for Vince, he will still culturally remain relevant in the sense of, like, because of TMZ. Like, TMZ has no problem platforming him. So what do? They put him in the TMZ documentary.
Correct.
And obviously, you know, we're not dumb. Like, WWE, they're not going to completely erase Vince. There was a photo of Vince and Hulk Hogan in their tribute, but
no, Triple H has even gone out and talked about him numerous times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just don't think we ever see them in a working capacity ever together.
No, because I think it's so hard, and it's even hard for me to say, but like the things that he is being accused of currently, they're just, you know, sponsors don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? They don't want anything to do with that. That's it.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, that's really the reality.
Yeah.
Brian McCaddy dropping a $2 super chat. He says, Vince equals ultimate fetish owner self-destructing. Brian McCaddy.
Jesus.
Brian. I appreciate the super
Back
chat.
He's back at it again.
Yeah, listen, the thing with Vince is their allegations. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to reiterate that. Their allegations. He's in the courts. They're fighting for this. There's going to be...
guys, the courts prove it. The courts are the ones that do. We just are talking. That's it.
Yeah. But what I will say is Vince is in a tricky situation because...
For sure.
I saw something about... It was a theory on TikTok or Twitter, and they're like, well, why hasn't Vince just settled it? And I don't know the whole argument, but a lot of things are like, hey, maybe this is consensual or whatever. I don't know. But when you get into the whole Vince allegations and stuff, I've always said this. It's going to be a drawn-out process. It's going to be long. The courts will decide. They'll move from there. Vince has got money for days. They haven't settled it out of court. I don't know what to really expect from it. I don't know what's to make of it. But even in general, Vince McMahon should not be anywhere near wrestling.
No, he should not. No, he should not.
So
they should just leave him be. He should leave it be. No need.
Yeah. That's just kind of how I'm looking at it.
For sure.
Thank you, Brian McKetty, for your super chat. It'd be nice one day if you drop a super chat that I don't have to feel like walking on eggshells reading. But hey, man, if it's not anything from AEW, now it's Vince. So it is what it is. But shout out to Brian McKetty, and shout out to everybody who's dropped super chats today. I appreciate it. So I wanted to read a comment to you, Billy, from TikTok. I thought this would be kind of fun.
Okay.
So Dan Sum 46 said, "Hire one, push one, fire one."
Oh, all right, let's do it.
So I kind of like this. I think this is
I'm locked in.
This is really cool. I think we should talk about it. So do me a favor. Hire one, push one, fire one.
Okay.
Hire one, push one, fire one, WWE edition. Go.
WWE. Okay. All right. Am I picking based off of superstars from anywhere that just doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter. Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I don't care.
And they can come from any company. If I wanted to bring, because again, if I'm hiring somebody, I can hire them in from another company.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I would, to bring into WWE, I would hire Kenny Omega. I would fire. Who would I fire? I want it to be juicy. I would fire. Does it have to be? Does it have to be?
Too many questions, bro.
No. Is it full time?
Brother, fire them. What are you talking about full time?
Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
Fire Brock, and then what was the other one? Fire one, push one. Carmelo Hayes. Boom.
Okay, great. For me, ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Hire Will Ospreay.
That was my next choice after Kenny.
Okay. Hire Will Ospreay. Fire Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
So this way he could go to AEW when we get Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Also, I would just like I would like to see what Roman Reigns would be booked like outside of WWE.
Correct.
And push one, Austin Theory.
Beautiful. Love it. I actually do have a quick question for you.
Sure.
I actually got a question on TikTok, and since we're doing this, I figured, let's have this conversation. That man, Spider, he says, what finisher move is more popular within the fans, the RKO or the Stone Cold Stunner?
More popular? Ooh, both of those are freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I like both.
If you had to pick one, what would you choose?
Man, I'm a huge geek for the RKO.
So
Diamond Cutter, RKO, yeah.
Yeah, I'd go RKO all day long.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That was.
We should do more stuff like that.
We should. I'll be quicker next time. I'm done asking questions.
Yeah, I think you just gotta spitball.
You're taking too long.
Well, dude, it's like
I gotta ask the questions. Somebody's got to do it.
But you know what it is? I think and I have a hot take too coming up in a second. But
Yeah, go ahead.
the thing that I really noticed that with situations like that, it's just fun. It's like fantasy, you know? It's like, dude, Will Ospreay is a great wrestler. I've always wanted to see Will Ospreay in WWE. I understand his wrestling will be slowed down, but I think he's such a great wrestler before he went to AEW, even became even greater. How would WWE present him? It's an intrigue. Roman Reigns leaving WWE, I would never want to see it, right? But like, I would love to see what Roman Reigns would be booked by, like how he would be booked and presented without the WWE machine, you know? So it's like, it's just fantasy. It's fun. It's not like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking cry if it doesn't happen. You know, definitely things that I consider for sure. But yeah, man, it's cool. Definitely cool. We should do more stuff like that, and I'm sure we will.
Yep.
Shout out to everybody in the chats of TikTok and YouTube contributing to the fun because it makes it even better.
It does.
Avery dropped another $4.99, by the way. I heard rumors that Vince and Trips have not had a good relationship since 2019. That's an interesting take because I've never believed they had a great relationship.
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't know if they ever did.
When Triple H had NXT booming and main roster wasn't, and Triple H was cool and Vince McMahon wasn't, I think that was definitely a big
That's
thing.
when we seen it go downhill, baby.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's valid.
It is. That's a very valid statement.
Like, I think, yeah, 100%. I don't know, man. I think it's also hard, too, because Triple H and Vince McMahon, you always hear the word complicated, right? But, like, Vince McMahon, a businessman, billionaire.
Everything about Vince McMahon is complicated.
Yeah, I think he's just a complicated individual. I don't think he knows how to have personal relationships. And even when you watch the Netflix documentary and they talk about him and his father, and yeah, it's just, it makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Shout out to Love Dogs Avery for the super chat. Man, what a day. What a fun stream.
Yeah, for sure.
That was fun. I'm excited. A lot of great things happening in the world of professional wrestling.
For sure.
A lot of great things happening here on the Ango Show Live. With that being said, I think this is the perfect way to end it. I don't think it gets better than that, man.
Nope. I agree.
Shout out to everybody. I'm hoping the stream worked for everybody on TikTok and YouTube. I
hope so too.
I hope we're testing a little bit of a different software. I feel like I say that every few months.
Yeah, every couple streams.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to make sure it works and, you know, we can go live and multi-stream correctly and all that good stuff.
Correct.
But shout out to everybody for pulling up. Thank you all. Make sure you guys check out Billy at Billy TKO. Make sure you guys check me out at Ango. And we'll see you guys